If you're moving to the Twin Cities, you've got hundreds of suburbs to choose from, and they couldn't be more different. Some have fantastic schools, but long commutes. Others have amazing amenities, but come with those premium price tags. And if you pick the wrong one, you could end up buying and realizing that it's not really for you. And you actually wanted to live in a different house or live in a different community just a few months later, having wasted time and money. And nobody, quite frankly, wants that. So today, we're ranking 10 Minneapolis suburbs into 5 tiers, from affordable hidden gems with a few trade-offs, all the way up to the most expensive addresses in the entire metro. I'm Jason Huerkamp. My team has helped more than 3,600 families buy and sell across the Twin Cities over the last 15 years, and that's why we know this market inside and out. So if you're trying to figure out which suburb actually fits your lifestyle, you're actually in the right place. So let's kick things off with the Tier D suburbs of Lakeville and Prairie Lake. Now, when we say Tier D, we're not saying these are bad places to live. In fact, these are great examples of suburbs where you don't need a $700,000 budget to get strong schools and a ton of outdoor amenities. You just have to be really clear on what you're trading for that affordability. So first up is Lakeville. Lakeville is in Dakota County. It's right along I-35, which is the major north-south interstate really in the entire state of Minnesota. From a connectivity standpoint, you're actually in a really good spot. You're close to the airport. You're relatively close to both downtowns. Airport's only going to be probably the 20 to 25 minutes, and both downtowns are going to be somewhere between 25 and 35 minutes. So the median price in Lakeville is sitting right at $477,000, and home prices were up 0.5% compared to a year before. So Lakeville has always been big on outdoor recreation, and they've really leaned into that. We have over 70 parks, nearly 150 miles of pedestrian and bike trails. So if you're into the outside, there's a ton to do. You got a ton of industrial development that's going on that's right by 35W or I-35, depending on what you want to call it. So there's Grand Prairie Park also, which is being developed in phases. And part of that includes 10 pickleball courts that opened in August of 2025. There's also a bunch of new industrial projects, civic improvements, and utility upgrades happening behind the scenes. Economy-wise, Lakeville's in a really good spot too. The unemployment rate is a staggeringly low 2.4%, which is both lower than the Dakota County rate and the Minnesota state rate in general. The overall vibe here is very family-oriented and growing. You've got the Lakeville Area Art Center if you're into cultural events and plays, and additionally you have the Parks and Recreation Department runs a ton of programming for all ages. Now, the trade-offs that come with Lakeville. So yeah, you're south of the river, and that's a real terminology that we here in the Twin Cities use. You can be south of the river or north of the river. So you're basically trading some convenience for commute time with the affordability and some slightly new housing stock that you'll find in Lakeville. And you got to cross the river. So you got to cross a bridge, and inevitably when you're on a major interstate and you cross a bridge, guess what? Traffic slows. So that's one of the pitfalls that you have with Lakeville, but there's a ton of positives that it has going for it. So if you're looking for new construction and you don't mind being a bit further south, in my opinion, Lakeville has a lot going for it. Next up in the Tier D is Prairie Lake, and Prairie Lake is in Scott County, and it's really known for its small town feel and a lot of water, right? We actually have about 15 lakes that are available in Prairie Lake and the surrounding area, so it's definitely that lake lifestyle kind of place. The median home price in Prairie Lake is around $490,000, so slightly more expensive than Lakeville, and prices were up actually 15.3% compared to last year, which is a gigantic jump. For parks and recreation, there's a total of 49 parks, about 1,000 acres of parkland, and 80 miles of sidewalks and trails. There are 2 large athletic complexes, plus Lakefront Community Park, which is a great place for some family events. There's a beach that's right on Prairie Lake. The park is actually almost 160 acres all by itself. So on top of that, we have public beaches there, fishing piers, There's boat slips around the lake, not specifically at Lakefront Park, that at least ones you can stay overnight. There are some docking there. The schools here are also very well regarded, and the city is planning for future growth. Their proposed 2026 budget is nearly $52 million, and the unemployment rate is also incredibly low at 2.6%. So the economy is stable, and some would say great. The trade-off here is similar to Lakeville. You're definitely further from downtown. You still are south of the river. But if you're okay with that and you want that lake lifestyle, it's a more affordable place than some of those western suburbs, and Prairie Lake really delivers on that. So if your priority is stretching your budget while still getting solid schools, recreation, and those southern suburbs really can deliver on that. You're not sacrificing quality, you're just accepting a distance that is a little bit further for a commute for most people. Before we move on, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button to subscribe, because we put out videos like this every single week showing you the best homes and neighborhoods throughout the Twin Cities and giving you some really good information about what you should expect living in the Twin Cities. Now let's slide up and look at the Tier C, Stillwater and Excelsior. Tier C is where we start to see suburbs that are really less about convenience and more about lifestyle and charm. So Stillwater is the only suburb on this list where your commute is pulling you east instead of west. And that, for one detail, really changes who this town works best for. So Stillwater sits right on the banks of the scenic St. Croix River, and it's close to the Wisconsin border. In fact, it's a stone's throw away, or if you're really good with a driver, you probably could hit it there too. So if you're working in downtown Minneapolis and commuting, it's going to be a little bit longer because you're on the far eastern side of the metro. So those western suburbs are a little bit closer to downtown Minneapolis. However, if you're in downtown St. Paul, Stillwater's gonna be closer to downtown St. Paul than the western suburbs would be to downtown St. Paul. So it really depends on where you're working. The median home price in Stillwater is about $475,000. That's up 2.4% from last year. If you zoom in on downtown Stillwater specifically, the median home price jumps to $540,000. So what makes Stillwater special is that it's riverfront and it's got a ton of historic charm. It is a very old historic community in Minnesota. The downtown is got the Stillwater Lift Bridge. You're going to have a ton of shopping. One of the biggest concentration actually of antique shops in the upper Midwest is right in downtown Stillwater. There's a ton of cool bars and quaint restaurants and the river walkway that walks right along the river. Couple really great ice cream shops, some historic sawmills, and you even have some cave tours that you can do. So this is where you really start to feel that small town charm and local flavor. On the economic side, Stillwater is in Washington County, where unemployment rate is also extremely low at 2.6% in 2025. The city is actively working on economic development and trying to keep businesses here to help them grow. So yes, you're trading a little bit of convenience in terms of the location, but in return, you're getting this unique historic community with tons of character and that beautiful, great river setting. So downtown Minneapolis is about 30 minutes away, depending on traffic. So if you like the history and you love water and you're not as concerned about your commute time, Stillwater might be the perfect place for you. So next, in Tier C, let's talk about Excelsior. Excelsior is a quaint, historic town on the south side of Lake Minnetonka, where the median home price is actually around $890,000. The median listing price is about $1.4 million, which tells you right away that this is a luxury market, at least in the Twin Cities. So you have a very walkable downtown with very strong connection to Lake Minnetonka, and there's a ton of events every year down there, so there's always something going on and happening. You've got the Commons, which is a 13-acre park with a recreation area, picnic sites, playgrounds, 2 swimming beaches, and a band shell. Then there's the Port of Excelsior, which is the hub for lake activities, including charter boats and historic Minnehaha steamboats. The trade-off here is Excelsior is smaller and quaint compared to bigger suburbs such as Lakeville on the list. You're paying for lakefront location and historic charm, and that comes obviously at a premium, especially considering Lake Minnetonka Minnetonka has the most expensive homes in all of Minnesota. But if you want that Lake Minnetonka lifestyle, and it's very walkable with an event-filled community, Excelsior is pretty tough to beat. So Stillwater and Excelsior aren't really compelling on convenience. They're selling a lifestyle and they're selling history, which means they attract buyers who value those things more than saving some time on the drive to work. Okay, so Tier B is where you really start to see that classic West Metro playbook with really strong schools, a lot of amenities, and prices that are climbing fast but haven't quite hit that top tier yet. Let's talk about Edina Prairie. So it really has a great, strong housing market. So Edina Prairie has a 92% satisfaction rate among its current residents, which is incredible. Median home prices are at $598,000, and that appreciation really shows you how in demand this suburb has become. So they have an art center, a community center with fitness programs like yoga, Zumba, Tai Chi, and lots of wellness options. An outdoor center, have a huge shopping area with all sorts of entertainment and food choices. It also is home to more than 2,800 businesses, and the Economic Development Division is focused on business growth and keeping those businesses here so that the local economy stays very strong. So those western suburb schools are also here, easy access to highways, and you still get a bit more affordable than places like Wayzata or Minnetonka. So Edina Prairie hits the sweet spot with great schools, a convenient location, strong community amenities without being in the absolute top tier for pricing. So the trade-offs with all that growth and business development, traffic can get a little bit heavy in rush hour. Homes do sell quickly, so you're dealing with competition when a good one hits the market. So next up is Chanhassen. Chanhassen is known as a community for life. It was named the best place to live by Money Magazine back in 2021. The median home price is around $575,000, which is up 10.6% from last year. You're going to see some really nice value here compared to the S tier suburbs, but still with a ton of amenities. Over 30 parks, more than 70 miles of scenic trails, a recreation center with a unique no pre-registration system, basketball courts, beaches, disc golf, fishing piers, and a skate park. The city recently moved into a new city hall as part of the Civic Campus project, which will include a new city center park. There's also active commercial development going on, including projects like Chanhassen Cinema and hotel redevelopment. In Chanhassen, you typically get more land than in some of the other established suburbs. The schools are great, and you're right in a good highway corridor for getting around the metro. The trade-offs, you're a bit further out than Edina Prairie, so if you're commuting to downtown every day, you're going to add 5 to 10 minutes each way. Some areas still feel like they're under construction, so you're kind of buying into the future rather than everything being built out today. Edina Prairie and Chanhassen give you that western suburb formula, which is great schools, strong growth, and solid amenities without maxing out your budget. You're still trading a little bit of prestige and long-term established character for better pricing and room to go. Now, let's move on to the A tier, is where you hit suburbs that are extremely desirable with strong schools, serious amenities, and a fast-moving market. So let's start with Plymouth. Homes in Plymouth sell in about 21 days on average, so if you blink, you might miss it. If you're not ready to jump in when a good home hits the market, you might be too late. The median home price is around $525,000, which is up 9.8% from last year, and homes are moving quickly, which really shows how desirable the area is. And there's a lot of parks, there's a lot of pools, there's water slides, so it's fantastic for families, and once people move here, they tend to stay for years. The Parks and Recreation Department has tons of programming for all ages, and the city is committed to keeping the economy stable and making it easy for businesses. The Community and Economic Development Department is focusing on new projects and reinvesting in older areas to keep the quality of life high. So What do you get? Well, you get that prime western suburb schools, a very convenient location. So the trade-offs in Plymouth, with homes selling in just 21 days on average, the market is moving really fast. It's a large suburb, so not every part of Plymouth feels tight-knit or connected as some of the smaller communities. So next is Minnetonka. Median home price in Minnetonka is around $508,000, which is up 18.7% from last year. The name Minnetonka is tied directly to Lake Minnetonka, which is right there. And that lake access is a huge draw. You're getting older homes in very nice established neighborhoods. If you're looking for tree-lined communities with big lots and mature trees, Minnetonka really delivers on that. You're not dealing with houses stacked on top of each other. You're getting more yard and more established high-end fill. Recreation-wise, Minnetonka has the Winston Fitness Center, Shady Oak Beach, outdoor ice rinks, and Royals Athletic Center. Minnetonka also has a 5-year economic improvement program for 2026 to 2030 that focuses on housing, economic development, reinvesting in older areas, and transit programs. The economic development staff actively supports local businesses, which keep the community well managed and forward thinking. So in Minnetonka, you're getting quality of life, excellent services, great proximity to Lake Minnetonka, and beautiful established neighborhoods. The trade-offs, because many of the homes are older, you might need to budget for some updates. There are fewer options if you want brand new construction with the latest finishes. All right, now we made it to the top of the list, the S-tier Wayzata and Edina. Let's talk about it. Wayzata and Edina. These are the absolute best of the Twin Cities metro. We're talking about the most desirable luxury suburbs here. With a $2.3 million median listing price, Wayzata isn't just expensive, it's in a league most buyers can't touch. And that's exactly the point. So Wayzata is centered around the lake and has a high-end walkable downtown. You've got the Panaway on Wayzata Bay project, which includes a lake walk, a plaza park, the Dakota Rail Trail, and all of the highlights the community focuses on for public access to the waterfront. Recreation and lake amenities include Wayzata Beach and Marina with swimming, boat slips, and a picnic area, the Depot Docks, which offer short-term public boat docking. The city is also working on various projects for 2025 that include engineering work, utility improvements, and things of that nature for capital improvements. Wayzata's budget for 2025 and 2026 includes items like school enrollment growth, which tells you it's a stable and growing community. This is one of those places where you're buying the address as much as the house. The location, the lake access, a very walkable, cool downtown, and strong community all come together to create something truly special. Then we've got Edina. Edina is a premier, well-established, first-ring suburb. It's known for high quality of life and luxury amenities. The median home price is around $760,000, which is up 8.2% from last year. And some zip codes like 55439 have a median sale price of $668,000. On the recreation side, you've got Bryn Mawr Arena, Bryn Mawr Field, Bryn Mawr Golf Course, Centennial Lakes Park, which is really cool and it has a nice skating rink in the winter and a lot of shopping built around it, the Edina Aquatic Center, and Edinburgh Park. Plus, the Bryn Mawr Golf Dome is a heated facility with top racer range technology, which is really cool. The city puts a big emphasis on community services and involvement. Edina is considered an ideal spot for commercial, industrial, and apartment developments because of its easy freeway and highway access and proximity to the broader Twin Cities region. The local economy is strong. You've got the Galleria for high-end shopping and the 50th and France area, which is high-end, walkable district with tons of restaurants and shops. It's luxury suburban living at its finest. So Wayzata and Edina really aren't competing with other suburbs on the list. They're luxury addresses where you're paying for exclusivity, lake access, and the prestige of the location itself. And that brings us to the big picture of how these Minneapolis suburbs really stack up. So here's the thing. The best neighborhoods depend on what matters most to you. The cool thing about the Twin Cities is we've got something for everyone. Whether you've got a $400,000 budget or a $2 million budget, whether you want that established neighborhood fill or new construction, there's a suburb here that will actually fit what you're looking for. So here's the thing though. Some of the suburbs that we've covered are about to see a major change with new developments coming in the next couple of years. So if you're thinking about moving to the Twin Cities, you want to get positioned in the right area before everyone else catches on. My team and I have helped thousands of families find their perfect spot here in Minnesota, and we'd love to help you too. So shoot me an email at jason@hhgus.com or check out all of our information down in the description. We'll show you exactly where to buy before the values spike. And speaking of living in the Twin Cities, if you're considering downtown Minneapolis instead of the suburbs, you need to see what I covered in my last video. I took you on a complete tour of downtown Minneapolis and explained why some people are ditching the suburbs for that car-free downtown lifestyle. I put the link to that video right here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you at the next house.